The Absolute Joker's origin is one of the craziest things I've ever read, and you're about to see why. What's up, my comic comrades? I'm your nerdy host, Eris Q, and today is the day, friends. The long-awaited issue, Absolute Batman 15, which gives us the origin of the Absolute Joker. And man, it's everything we hope for and then some. So we're just gonna get right into this amazing story and origin. However, I will say real quick that Variant's Holiday Collectibles drop is live right now on our Whatnot page, and you could find a ton of high-demand comics, figures, and a bunch of other collectibles to grab for yourself or your gift list. And if you use our invite link in the description to create a new Whatnot account, you'll get $15 to use toward anything in the Variant Whatnot shop. Just click our link to check that out. All right, so Absolute Batman issue 15 opens up with Pennyworth telling Bruce, "It's time, kid. I've put it off as long as I could, but I need to tell you about him," to which Bruce replies, "I'm ready. So who is he?" Followed by images of the Joker landing a private plane on some remote island with a bunch of weapons and survival gear. Pennyworth then begins to tell Bruce, "That's the funny thing, Bruce. I've been chasing this man for 3 years and I'm still not certain what's real and what's fabrication. Some things add up and some things make no bloody sense at all." Bruce asks, "Like what?" Pennyworth tells him, well, like his islands. He owns hundreds of these tiny islands all over the world, from the Arctic Ocean to the Tasmanian Sea. Uninhabited, impossible to develop, wild, useless places. But he spends billions on them, travels to one or another a few times a year, alone. Bruce asks why. Pennyworth says, "That's my point. No one knows. Satellites show nothing on them. The theory is he likes to hunt, but he's a mystery, Bruce. The man in white who doesn't laugh," and on and on. Bruce says, "Then forget what's true, Pennyworth. Tell me what you believe." And as we turn the page, we get a 2-page spread of newspaper clippings, reports, and photos that Pennyworth has put together over the years as we see this story is called The Joker. After this, Pennyworth starts telling Bruce the origin of the Joker, saying it starts here, with one of the first ever films recorded. Maybe the actual first, 1888. Bruce asks, "And who am I looking at?" Pennyworth tells him his great-grandfather. Bruce asks, "In the top hat?" Pennyworth tells him no. "In the makeup, the boy, the clown, Joseph Grimm the First, Jack," as we see a little boy in terrifying clown makeup, which kind of looks like a mix between Pennywise and the Crow, who's juggling skulls. I repeat, juggling skulls. No one found this alarming. I get it was the 1800s, but come on, man. It's a boy in terrifying clown makeup juggling skulls. Pennyworth then says the story is he grew up an orphan on the streets of Gotham, made his living as a street performer. They say he was good too, best around. Said you could hear the laughter from blocks and blocks, though he himself never so much as chuckled. His reputation grew. He brought his clown act to vaudeville, took the money from that and invested in his own theater. Just kidding. Bruce says JK. And I gotta say, great name for a man who becomes the Joker. And also look, they gave him subtle red eyes and green hair even back then in this flashback that Pennyworth is giving. Love the attention to detail. Anyway, Pennyworth says from here he invested in silent pictures, funded some big ones. Competition was fierce, but Jack always prevailed by, according to those around him, making people laugh loudest. Pennyworth then goes on to say, by 40 he made a fortune and became a member of Gotham's finest men's club, the Five Gates Club, the Slaughter Select, and so on. It is said that he, Andrew Mellon, John Rockefeller, and old Andrew Carnegie had their own Thursday salon, devoted to funding the health and progress of the Republic. Still, he was never one for the spotlight himself. There are almost no photos of him, no interviews, barely any records at all, in fact. He exists mostly in the shows he produced. And the charity, Jack was a major philanthropist. That much is documented, though you won't see his name on anything. A wing of Gotham Med, the Gotham Met, Gotham University, he was especially devoted to children's causes, which made sense given his own rough childhood. Live like a clown, leave the world with more laughter than you entered. That was his reported motto. Jack died in 1938 according to the records and is buried in a family crypt here in the city. The whole live like a clown, leave the world with more laughter than you entered is actually terrifying because you know there is no real good intention behind that. Anyway, Pennyworth goes on to say Jack's legacy lived on in his son Jackie Jr., who had taken over the family business in the 1920s and expanded it. Like his father, Jack Grimm II invested in entertainment that would bring laughter to the world, eventually becoming one of the early financiers of television. He created a bunch of subsidiaries of JK, all named after famous clowns and gestures: Fox, Perot, Hop Frog, and so on. And like his father, he stayed committed to philanthropic pursuits, especially those for children. He opened homes for orphans across the country. By the 1960s, Junior's son, Jack Grimm III, was the central figure of JK, starting one of the first cable network companies devoted primarily to comedies and children's shows. Jack III was a major funder of public broadcasting. Jack Grimm IV was born sometime in the late 70s and took the company into gaming systems. He also expanded JK's philanthropy to global causes. Which finally brings us to our Jack Grimm V. Now, before I continue, I haven't mentioned it yet, but how brilliant is it that the absolute Joker's real last name is Grimm? It just makes all the sense in the world, and I love these little touches from Snyder. So good.
And speaking of awesome, incredibly, the holidays are officially here, and we want to help you lock down your gift list and maybe land something solid from the Treat Yourself list as well. Well, to do that, we have teamed up with today's sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store, to bring you guys Variant's holiday wish list. In fact, Big Bad Toy Store launched a dedicated holiday central landing page featuring a ton of gift ideas, epic deals, stop motion holiday content, and exclusive creator recommendations all in one spot. And I have to say, the stop motion stuff they've been posting is just amazing. I just keep watching them over and over again because they remind me of the holiday specials I used to watch when I was a kid. Love it. Anyway, you'll find our curated wish list with the creators' holiday picks lineup, and it's pretty well rounded if I do say so myself, but the truth is I gave him a list that was like 20 plus items deep, and Big Bad was like, calm down, bro. Either way, you will find a few collectibles we've shown you in the past, along with several new ones, like this Marvel Legends Maximum Series Hulk, which has several heads and face profiles along with a bunch of effects. Plus, it's the Hulk. Gotta have it. But then we have these TMNT The Last Ronin figures from NECA, which are ripped straight out of the comic. After that, we have this Star Wars Black Series Shadow Trooper wearable voice changer helmet, and one of my personal favorites, this amazing Superman The Mechanical Monsters 5 Points box set from Mezco, which is based on the 1941 animated short. This thing comes with both Superman and Clark Kent figures, along with Lois Lane, the Mechanical Monster, 4 spot-on display environments, and a phone booth. You have to check this thing out, especially if you are a fan of the Golden Age like I am. Overall, though, this is just to get you started. There is no shortage of dope in-stock items you can snag from brands all across fandom. Or if you wanted to keep the holidays rolling into the new year, they have high-demand pre-orders that will arrive after the holidays as well. Just click the link in the description to check out our holiday picks, and from there you can load up or click their homepage icon to see their full Holiday Central landing page in all its glory. Because again, they're already running awesome deals and discounts along with newly dropped figures and limited run items. So happy hunting, and let us know what you grab off our list.
All right, jumping back to the story, on the next page, Pennyworth continues to tell Bruce that Jack Grimm V is young, smart, and by far the most successful yet. He was one of the first investors in online gaming platforms, the hardware and software, and a primary backer of graphics processing units, the chips the entire bloody world runs on. And as he approaches trillionaire status, Jack V has vastly widened JK's charitable initiatives, international literacy programs, peace organizations, medicine, and aid drops. To those who know him, lauded and loved. Bruce then asks, so where is it? Pennyworth says, so where is what? Bruce tells him, where is the smoking gun, Pennyworth? What's so scary about this guy? He replies, on paper, nothing is so scary about him. Just the opposite. He's a 5th chapter in a story about a family that has made its fortune by embracing the very first love, the clown, helping Americans and people around the world smile, laugh. Sure, he's an eccentric, Jack is, likes to hunt big game alone on remote islands. But all billionaires are eccentric, right? As we see Jack hunting a panther with knives on some island, able to put it in a chokehold and kill it. Pennyworth says he's a classic American success story. Bruce then tells Pennyworth, I didn't ask you for the story, Pennyworth. I asked you what you believe. Pennyworth tells him, okay, kid, but for that, we need to go back to the start, to that boy in the alley. Back to the clown. And as you can see on this page, things are getting a whole lot scarier, and Pennyworth tells Bruce, see, young Jack Grimm often performed outside a dentist office. In the 1880s, they only just introduced nitrous oxide to dentistry, and Jack would sneak in, leak the gas into the alley, make them laugh, sure, but also make them suggestible, as nitrous does, so they'd give him all their money. The act was a trick, a sleight of hand, as we see this kid continuing to juggle what we could only assume are human skulls, maybe monkey skulls. I don't know. Anyway, Pennyworth goes on to say, this sleight of hand was no different from when Jack Sr. funded his own rivals in vaudeville and in film, playing one side against the other. And that's what my research has found out about the Grimm family. They've always played both sides. For a century and a half, these men have invested in one endeavor and its counter. It extends beyond entertainment to all aspects of life. They even funded our war effort and theirs, as we learned that the Joker funded the damn Nazis in the absolute universe. This doesn't get any more evil, friends. Anyway, as we continue, Pennyworth says through subsidiaries, all their clown-named companies, the Grimms funded right-leaning news networks and left-leaning ones. They fund aid and the warlords who steal it, peace and war, the crimes and the prison, Arc M. They might be the most powerful crime family in history, playing everyone against each other, profiting off the chaos they sow, loyal to no country, no principle, nothing but power. Yeah, this is crazy. It is such a genius move to have this version of the Joker be so corrupted and evil that he sides with everyone to simultaneously manipulate everyone because he doesn't care about any cause but his own. At this point, Bruce asks, but why? How much is enough? Pennyworth tells him, I have always come back to that motto, live like a clown. A clown plays the fool while making a fool of everyone else. He's a mastermind, the schemer. All the gold in the world isn't enough. Nothing is enough. I love that line so much. A clown plays the fool while making a fool of everyone else. Just so great and says so much with saying so little. We then get a scene of the Joker in present day on one of his remote islands as he has stumbled upon a makeshift hut. He then says, hello, is anyone home? At which point we get more narration from Pennyworth that says, now you know, that's the report I sent to my superiors at MI6. And then on the next page, we see the Joker has found a man on this remote island, a man who looks like freaking Tom Hanks in Castaway, as he tells the Joker, hello, is someone, oh thank God, mister, I've been trapped on this island alone for nearly 30 years. I don't know how I got here. My name is, but as the Joker walks forward, the man recognizes him saying, you? But how? As we get a close-up of the Joker's face with an evil snarl telling the stranded man to run. The man starts running saying, no, it can't be you. Bruce then tells Pennyworth, I don't care what you reported, Pennyworth. What do you believe? Tell me. Pennyworth finally says, all right, Bruce, but it might sound a little crazy. We go back to that alley one more time, to the clown, as we see this evil Pennywise-looking clown kid with dead bodies behind him. Pennyworth then goes on to say, what I found when I dug deeper was that many of the people laughing in that film died soon after it was shot, twisted in pain, grinning, a kind of strychnine poisoning, one of the few toxins that could be absorbed through the skin, like maybe upon shaking the gloved hand of a small boy, as we get panels of the Joker in present day taking his shirt off, getting ready to chase the stranded man while saying, ready or not, here I come, while we also see his face start to transform. Pennyworth continues to tell Bruce, but lots of people who encountered the Grimms over the years came to mysterious bad ends, jumping off bridges, vanishing, business rivals, politicians, reporters. In the 90s, an associate of mine at the FBI, Harvey Harris, began an investigation, died in a boat accident. Bruce asks again, what are you saying, Pennyworth? He replies, I'm saying there's a darker project, Bruce. I have records of Grimm investments in some of the deadliest inventions of the last 100 years. From the bomb to bioweapons, viruses. There are records of them laughing, Bruce, the Grimm men, at the tests. Bruce asks yet again, what are you getting at? Say it, as we see the Joker use a crossbow to shoot the man he's chasing in the Achilles tendon, going right through his leg. Pennyworth then answers Bruce saying, what if those islands are where he puts them, his enemies? What if he just leaves them there for years until he feels like, God, I sound mad? Bruce says, keep going, what do you believe? As we see the Joker walk up to the now wounded castaway he's chasing with his face transforming more and more. Pennyworth continues to answer Bruce saying, I believe he uses the children, Bruce. At first he used the ones in the orphanages and now he's using something else. He's found some way, I don't know, using their cells, using the research done at the Arcs, some terrible elixir. Bruce says, go on, Pennyworth, who is he? Pennyworth says, the clown, Bruce. What is a clown? Its whole act is a cruel mockery of us, of humanity, as bumbling, stupid. The clown hates us. You find stories in myth, legends from ancient times to now. The jester who burns the kingdom in Baldi Savage. The one who convinces us to kill each other, even as he himself preys on us. The clown is death. Also, if you remember in the epilogue of Absolute Batman issue 6, we saw the Absolute Joker with baby fetuses pieces all around his body, healing him, making him look more human, and we're getting more imagery of that here. But this time with explanation of what's going on with those babies wrapped and hooked up to his body with what looks like artificial umbilical cords. So apparently the reason why he's been donating to kids and orphanages all these years is because he's developed some sort of elixir from these children that gives them these insane powers, which is causing him to be able to mutate into this Joker monster demon thing. But wait, there's more. We currently see the Joker turning into this monstrosity, telling the castaway, "Coming for you," as the castaway says, "My God." But Bruce tells Pennyworth for like the 7th time, "Stop dancing around it. Say it, damn it. What do you believe?" As Pennyworth finally spits it out and we learn what the Joker really is. Not what he put in his report, what the truth is, or at least what he truly believes. Pennyworth then says, "I believe that there is no Grimm family, all right? I believe there is no Jack the First, the Second, the Third, the Fourth, the Fifth. There has ever only been one Jack Grimm. Maybe it's just his infernal science. Maybe it's some dark pact. I don't know. Maybe it's both. And I know how it sounds, kid, I know. But I look at him and he's something terrible, Bruce. A nightmare thing that stalks the earth. Not a man who never laughs at anything, but the beast that's always laughing at us. The one whose laughter we only hear when it's too late. So who is he? He's the Joker, as we see the Joker fully transform into this monster violator Demogorgon form. At which point he picks up the stranded man with one hand and eats him. Just throws him in his mouth, laughing as he does it. And let me just say, this Joker is terrifying. We all know it. We've been saying this since we got our first look at him. But this is just crazy. This is the most demonic, monstrous Joker we've ever seen. And Bruce, unless you finally decide to use that venom, I don't know how you're getting out of this. At this point, we're finally brought to Pennyworth and Bruce. We see Bruce suited up as Batman saying, "I've heard enough." Pennyworth says, "Bruce," but Bruce tells him, "No, I need to check on Wayland." Pennyworth says, "I understand. Be careful out there, kid." And as Batman goes to check on Wayland, Pennyworth's internal monologue says, "Nicely done, old fool. He didn't sign up for this. Sure, he wanted to fight, to punch back, to scream. But this, in just the last year, the world has cracked itself open and revealed its true face to him. All its monsters everywhere he looks. The other night I found him watching a story about a woman in Gateway City who claims to be magic, some kind of god warrior from hell," which is an absolute Wonder Woman reference because the next issue is going to be a crossover with absolute Batman and Wonder Woman. Anyway, Pennyworth goes on to tell himself, to his credit, he just keeps on. He pushes forward. "But did you really tell him about Grimm for his own sake? No, you told him because you couldn't live with it anymore. Because deep down, you're a coward. Just yesterday, a report put Grimm on one of his islands off the coast of Colombia, but you couldn't let it alone, even with Grimm 3,000 miles away from Gotham." As we see Batman swinging through the city via his grapple gun. However, the Joker isn't 3,000 miles away. The Joker is in Gotham at street level, watching Batman swing through the skyline. We then see the Joker say, "Well, hello there," followed by getting into his car, then heading back to his manor, where he's greeted by his butler, who looks like the main universe Alfred Pennyworth, who says to him, "Welcome back to the manor, Master Grimm. It's so nice to finally have you home. Are you hungry?" But the Joker looks at him and replies, "No. I ate." Yeah, he ate, and as we know, what he ate was a damn human being back on that island. He then goes over to a grandfather clock and sets the hands to 1046 or 1047, which opens up a secret door behind it, while he tells his butler, "I have plans to make though, so if you need me, I'll be in my cave." And as he descends into the stairs, the issue ends. That's right, not only is Absolute Joker a billionaire like main universe Bruce, but he also apparently has his own manor, butler, and a grandfather clock that opens a secret passage down to his own, I guess, Joker cave? My God, I need to know what his Joker cave looks like so bad. It's just a brilliant role swap, and there is definitely going to be some kind of significance to the specific time shown on the grandfather clock. In the main continuity, Bruce uses the same time that his parents were murdered to open the hidden door to his Batcave, and Snyder and Jock definitely made a point to show that, so I'm sure we'll learn at some point what that time means to Absolute Joker. Regardless, this was a freaking wild issue, and the Joker's origin is insane. I can confidently say this is one of the coolest origins we've gotten from any comic book character in a long time. There's so many layers to it, and while we got the meat of his origin, Snyder still left us with a ton of mystery, starting with what this dude actually is or has become. Is he a demon? Did he make a deal with Satan? Is he using dark magic? We don't exactly know. We just know that somehow somehow he's using live babies or some sort of elixir to make him live all these years and become the monster that he is. And he has nothing but selfish, evil intentions. I'm sure more of this will be explained as he comes into confrontation with Absolute Batman, which I cannot wait for. The dialogue that's going to be exchanged, the fight scenes that will ensue. Dude, if we thought Absolute Bane versus Absolute Batman was crazy, just imagine what Absolute Batman versus Absolute Joker will be like. We're here for it. And next up, we get Absolute Wonder Woman and Absolute Batman crossing over in Absolute Wonder Woman 15, which was teased there at the end, so nothing but more absolute goodness coming. But now it's your turn. What do you guys think of this issue and the initial insane reveal of Absolute Joker's origin? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.